Hi friends, it's Caitlin and welcome back to the Floating Rock podcast. I hope you're having the most incredible day ever. So today we have a super fun episode, new, different if you will. I am having a compilation of guests, aka a bunch of seniors that I go to school with here at Chapman, on the pod to share some of their knowledge, advice, and growth. I love the idea, obviously all these people are incredible people, and many of the people I know here at Chapman, or even just in my life, are incredible people, but it's hard to fit everyone into a half an hour-long podcast episode that I guess fits the tone of the Floating Rock podcast. But I thought with graduation in a few days, I really just wanted to hear from some of my favorite people, just how they've grown these past 4 years and how Chapman has shaped them. And I think 4 years is such a long yet short time, and people come in one person and leave another, and I just want to hear all about these people's experiences and how they've grown over these past 4 years. Specifically though, the question I'm asking them is, what is the biggest lesson/growth you are taking away from these past 4 years? I tried to keep it a little bit open-ended because what if somebody maybe made a certain decision that incited this growth and that growth, or maybe they just heard this one piece of advice, or I'm leaving it open to them to answer in any way that they want. But I'm so excited to hear about their internal thoughts and their life experiences, and I hope that you are too. I just think it'd be really fun to get a bunch of different perspectives into one podcast episode. As we all know, I also have probably grown a shit ton while being here at Chapman, and I wanted to hear all about their experiences. Now that I think about it too, I'm like, wait, should I answer it right now? Wait, why didn't I even think about my answer? My answer, I think, is something along the lines of putting yourself out there and being authentically yourself. I think for me, this kind of manifests into a bunch of different things. I think some of the biggest growing and learning moments that have come for me in these past couple years has been gaining and maybe drifting from people, or friends or whatever, because of how myself I was being. No hate or beef, but when you're being authentically yourself, you're going to attract and actually hang out with people who appreciate that about you and celebrate that about you and who match up and align with that version of you. So I think that's been a big thing for that. As I've migrated from certain singular friends to certain friend groups and all that stuff, I think that's been really a big thing for me. And then for some reason, what's coming to mind too is these networking events I've been going to, and just the networking I've been doing in general, mostly these past 3 to 2 years. Just that in general, putting myself out there, that is so scary and big. And then I've also realized too that the more myself I am, the better these connections are, and the better I can just connect with these people when I'm not trying to just be an A+ student, hi, can I talk to you about your journey? But when I actually come to the conversation like it's a conversation, and I come as myself. And I guess kind of lastly on that note of being authentically myself and putting myself out there, I already made a podcast episode about this, but the fucking pod, guys, this is literally so weird to be putting myself out there like this. And it has truly been life-changing. Like I said, now a lot of people, when they think about me, they think of the podcast, and that's so insane that that's even a thing, So I think that's also just been a huge learning and growing moment for me, in that I have found so much happiness and light and support in doing something that is, one, putting myself out there on the internet, and two, being authentically myself. This is a part of me, hello? And I do say, obviously, okay, what does that have to do with college? I think that Chapman and college in general just gave me the space, the safe feeling to feel like I can post this and I don't think people are going to judge the hell out of me, and I think that people might even enjoy it, and I think they'll appreciate someone going out of their comfort zone and doing some crazy shit like this. But I feel like that might be one of the biggest changes and growths from freshman year Caitlin to senior year Caitlin. Is I think I used to think of myself as shy, and I would always ask people, are you the sun, moon, or the stars? I think I might have said this on the pod before, but I always thought oh, I'm the stars, oh, I'm the stars, I can shine, but you have to get to know me. I'm always in the background. But bitch, I'm in the foreground now. What? And I put myself there, hello, I'm just filming myself speaking, really. But that has been such a big piece of growth for me. And after I had that stars realization, I was like, you know what? I met so many people here that I felt were the sun, and I was like, I also want to be the sun. And there's enough room for so many suns because the universe has millions of suns and we can all be suns. But if you don't want to be the sun, that's okay. And you can be the mysterious stars or whatever. Everyone is whatever they are, and that's great. But yeah, I think that's been my biggest growth and learning moment all throughout Chapman and all throughout just these past 4 years of being a human from 18 to 22 has been putting myself out there and being authentically myself. And I think if I hadn't had done that, I wouldn't be here today, and I definitely would not be the same person. And I'm so happy that I made that growth. So without further ado, here are the rest of the interviews, and I hope you enjoy them. Okay, yay, bye-bye. Hi guys, okay, so we have Alyssa here with us. Alyssa, I danced with her on Floor 13. I've known you for like 2 years now. She's a transfer queen. But yeah, I'll just let you introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Alyssa Angeles. I'm a senior, so we're graduating. T-minus, what, like 4 days?
No, it's
from now?
disgustingly soon.
But I'm a business administration major with a marketing emphasis, and I'm a dance minor. And yeah, like she said, I transferred to Chapman spring of 2023. I've been here ever since. I joined Floor 13 that next fall, and I've been dancing with the girlies ever since, and it's been so lovely.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Cute. Oh, we had our last performance last night, and there were so many tears. It was actually insane.
It was pretty bad. I didn't expect to crack. I thought I was going to hold strong, but they really got to me. So
I know. I was proud I saved it till the end, though. And then it all came out. However, this is actually maybe a little more interesting for you to answer since you haven't been at the same school for 4 years. But the question of the day, as we all know, is what is the biggest lesson/growth you're taking away from the past 4 years?
I feel like that actually goes really, really well because what I was going to say was being able to say yes, but then also still say no. Well, the saying yes part is obviously like taking the risk and jumping into the deep end even when you don't really know what you're getting yourself into. And I feel like I did that multiple times, not even just within my Chapman like experience, but before that. So clearly like transferring here was a very big jump. I wasn't planning for it really. I kind of just applied here on a whim, and then I was accepted, and then it kind of went, okay, like it's time to go to Chapman, I guess. And yeah, everything after that is kind of the same thing. Like I applied to be an orientation leader. I got a job from that role, and I worked on campus, and then I joined Floor 13. That was again like another, dang, I don't know if I could actually fit this in my schedule, but whatever, I'm gonna make it work. And so that was my yes moment. And then like only a couple months later, it was like, okay, we have Floor 13 e-board elections. Who's interested? And it didn't take much convincing because I always am interested in a leadership role, but I knew that I was going into my senior year already, so I didn't have any more time to waste. And so that was my yes moment of like, well, I'm going to run. I don't know if I'm going to get it. I don't know if any of these people even see me as a leader because I've been on the team for like 2 minutes. But I kind of went for it, and I got elected. And then this whole year has been a series of yeses because I felt the weight of graduation looming, like even from August of last year. So yeah, and then the no side of things is there were times where I was extremely stressed out and I had to put myself first, and I wouldn't advise it, but like I skipped a decent amount of classes this semester.
It's a mental health day.
No, it really was. There was a mental health week there, but it was so needed. And there was like a performance that I had said no to, even though my gut was like, you should just do it. But I knew I had to say no to a couple things to really make sure that I was prioritizing myself. So take the yeses, take the risks, but also like figure out what you can handle and like always put yourself first, because you're not going to enjoy all of those crazy experiences and like fun performances and nights out if you're constantly stressed or overworked or not sleeping well. So saying yes and saying no is my answer.
Wait, I love that. I like, too, how it's like you're finding the balance, and that's like what actually makes you happy. Because if you're always just a yes man, then you're literally overworked and dying.
Yes.
But then, yeah, those no's are so important. And then the random scary ones, like being on e-board and all that. That's crazy. Is there anything that you feel like you've like really gained like from some of the yeses or even some of the nos, like maybe like a better sense of self or like community? I don't know, maybe is there anything that you're like, oh my god, like thank god I said yes to this because I gained this out of it?
Oh, definitely confidence. I thought I was a decently confident person. I think when you dance for a long time, you have that, you kind of have to have that confidence, whether you're faking it or it's real. So I genuinely thought I was a confident person, but I would still go into interviews and auditions and classes feeling very self-conscious and just like not sure what I was doing there. And it wasn't until I was really involved in orientation and just felt like purpose there, and then conversely, you know, with joining 413, again, feeling that same purpose. It was a different kind, obviously. It was more dance related and like physical and community based, but both of those things kind of working hand in hand because I was part of those two things simultaneously. And so I think through being a part of both of those things really helped me figure out what confidence actually means, because it wasn't just like putting on a front or whatever. It was when I walk into a space, I don't have to know somebody or like I don't have to go into a class on the first day and know someone. Like I can just sit in my seat and like be me, and I'll find a friend the natural way. And that's something that I've learned because, again, being in those two environments at the same time, you're kind of forced to be open to new things. And so yeah, that confidence level of just like walk into a room and you see how it goes. You don't have to have any, you know, preconceived expectations of, oh, I better make a friend in every single class on the first day of school, because that's just not realistic. And what if you don't end up actually liking them and like they smell or
with
something?
a weirdo?
Exactly. Like I don't want to do a class project with a weirdo all semester. So I think confidence is a big thing.
I love that. I have one last follow-up question, because you are a big leadership girly. Do you have any like advice for being in a leadership role or like taking a leadership role or just anything about being a leader? Because I think you're a great one. So I would love to, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I've been training the Floor 13 vice president successor. Her name is Kenna, and she kind of is asking me like a lot of questions, like what would you do in this situation? And my biggest advice that I think carries in any role, doesn't have to be Floor 13, is put yourself in the team member's shoes. So when you're coming up with, I don't know, like a form and you're writing shit out on this Google form, like pick the questions or pick the things that are going to be worthwhile for them to answer. And it's things that they can, I don't know, like things that they need. So I think an example was I realized that during a very busy time period within our like dance schedule, there was just a lot of things due, a lot of things coming up. And even myself, I was having a hard time keeping track of the due dates and stuff because I'm really the one that was enforcing all of those things. And so I started to feel overwhelmed myself, like, how can I even remember these things? Or how can I expect them to remember these things if I can't even remember them? And so that's when I was like, well, I've never really done this before. We haven't really done this before. So I'm going to make this to-do list document that's like the dates and the whatever it is, like a form or contract or whatever it is. Like there's due dates, they're in order, they're very clear, the links are embedded in the document, so it's just very easy to access. And I got good reviews from it because it was definitely something that I think, you know, we're so busy that you're not going to take, you know, 2 minutes just to read the group chat and like
scroll all the way up.
Especially because we message a lot. So that was my way of, you know, I'm struggling to remember all of these things myself, and I'm sure that it's the same way for all 37 team members as well. So I'm gonna write it out on this document because I think that this is what they would need, or maybe what I would need if I was just like a team member, which I was for a whole year. So putting yourself in the other people's shoes is really, really important, and not just when it comes to like organizational things like that. It also goes into like if someone's having a bad day, like, and you're, I don't know, maybe you don't have the patience for it, like take a step back and really think about what they would need in that situation. So a lot of that. And I think if you lead with that, then people will see you as very personable, and you won't come off as such like a harsh, strong leader.
Enforcer.
Because among peers, I don't think that ever really translates, if I'm being honest. So yeah.
I love it. Wait, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
You're so eloquent. Oh my god.
Oh gosh, I didn't even prep before this, so I had no idea what's going on.
Yay. Okay, well, thank you.
Thanks.
That was Alyssa, ladies. Okay, next up we have Tavin. I have been in the same major as Tavin for the last 4 years, TV writing and production on top, but I'm just going to let him introduce yourself a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Tavin, like she said. Thanks for having me on today,
yeah,
Caitlin. It's an honor. We like you said, we did TWP together for a while, so that's how we know each other. She actually wrote my thesis that I directed, so our thesis. We were just talking about it, Susie and Jake, so look out for that at festival soon.
Yeah. That'll happen.
It'll happen. We'll get it out there, but yeah.
But anyway, the main point that we're here today about is the question that I have for all the seniors, which is, what is the biggest lesson / growth you're taking away from these past 4 years?
Yeah, you texted me this when you originally put on your story, I had read it, and then you texted as a reminder, so I was like walking over here, I had 5 minutes to think about it, but there's a lot that went through my head, but honestly, the first thing is kind of what I stuck with, because I do think if it's the first thing to pop into my head, it's probably pretty meaningful.
Yeah.
And it's honestly scheduling. It's such a boring and kind of annoying answer, but I think I'm a very big people person, and I'm a very big, I just come alive when I'm around people. And so it's like, I got really buried in work, and I didn't have any time to be around people, because I didn't know what I was doing with my schedule. I was just like saying yes to things. I was overbooking myself. It caused a lot of stress. It caused like my life to just kind of fall apart my sophomore year. And so junior year was really like learning the skills of like, saying no, like putting things on a calendar, like how much time do I need between things, I did all that. I got really good at scheduling, and then I became a senior, and then I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's be a senior. Let's like make this year the most it could be. And so I'm now very good at scheduling. I put a lot on my schedule, but then I forgot about like personal time, like self-care time, and seeing friends and stuff like that. And so I'd like only ever see friends or like people I wanted to see at the very end of the day when I'm exhausted and tired and worried about the next day. So now I'm looking post-grad, and I'm like, I need to establish a balance. And I think the two big ways to establish a balance in your life is scheduling and budgeting. So budgeting is a skill I've yet to learn, and that's what I'm going to get really good at. But I'm glad that I learned how to schedule my time because time is money, and and time is also like limited. I mean, that's the most basic take ever, right? Everyone knows that, but I mean, college flew by. College flew by.
Ooh, I love that answer. Do you feel like you have any methods that you're gonna try? I liked your point about like, I think in like friendships, relationships, roommateships, whatever, it's easy to like spend your tired time with people. So do you have any ways that you're thinking of spending intentional like energy full time with people while still trying to pursue a job and make your money and care for yourself,
make all my own things happen? Exactly. No, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked, because like that is something I've kind of realized more recently, and I think for me what that looks like is fortunately a lot of my shifts, I work at a restaurant right now, and so a lot of my shifts are at night, and so I have the whole morning just sitting around like waiting to go to work. And it's like and a lot of the time, like this last summer and this year, I'd either be doing other work or I'd be like sitting alone in my house being like, I have to go to work in 3 hours, I have to go work in 2 hours, you know what I mean? So it's like being intentional with that time and being like, okay, just because I work later doesn't mean I can't spend all that other time. I have to make sure I have the buffer between them. Like that's a really important thing for me. I need time, like a buffer time between like hanging out with my friends or doing something fun in the middle of the day and then going to work. But I was never being intentional about that that in between time or that before time. And like there's a lot of like small moments, and even in the last couple of days as I've gotten more free, I've been like calling people, texting people, and being like, hey, like what's your schedule like today, or in a couple of days, like let's do something together. And I think that's a good skill to have post-grad too, because no one's gonna see each other unless we make time.
You're not running into them.
Right, exactly. So like, having a podcast is a great way to do that,
True,
Or I want to, keep working on like a writer's room projects or stuff like that. So it's like giving myself a reason to see people and still work on my career. Like you combine them. But yeah.
I love that. I feel like a few things I've like heard of / like kind of want to do maybe. Have you heard the thing about people, they do like office hours and they like tell their friends like, I'm gonna be at this coffee shop for the next 5 hours.
I've not heard of this.
I've always thought that was kind of cute.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I that important? I don't know, but I think that one's cute.
I would do it if I was like had nothing to do and you're like, I'm at this place.
Because you could be working on your stuff and then one friend pulls up, you hang out for 20 minutes.
You don't have any expectations. Right? You're like, oh my god, yeah.
Right. I think that, or like, I'm not like a big poster, but I like the idea of like being a little bit more active on like a close friend story post grad, just to like give people the opportunity to like slide up and like talk. Because I feel like there's people that I feel like you would tell, oh my god, I'm directing this or doing that, just in passing, but like you wouldn't go out of your way to text them because it's like, what?
Or you forget that there's someone you would like to talk to that about.
And then but when you put it for like your 20 people that you fuck with, then it gives them the opportunity to start a conversation or like be like, wait, we need to hang out and talk about this, or I don't know, I think that's
No,
cute.
I agree. I mean, most of the time when I post, it means I'm lonely. It means I'm extroverted, and it's like I'm sitting alone at home alone, and I'm like tweaking because I'm like, I need to talk to somebody, so I'll post on my story and hope that someone will slide up. So like office hours sounds great. It's like, yo, I'm in the lodge garage. Like window, like the garage door's open, good vibes, music's playing. Like come say hi if you're in the area, or a coffee shop, or that's a great idea.
Right, because I think sometimes just a 10-minute, 20-minute hangout can do so much. Like even right now, I'm like, and I fucking saw Tavin.
Yeah, and I got energy because I gotta like talk to you, and like I gotta, we gotta talk about stuff that I'd forgotten about fully.
For real.
And you reminded me. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, hell yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course,
I
thanks
love
for
the
having
take
me.
of scheduling. That's not what I was expecting, but I
it's
really
kind
like
of
it.
more beautiful than you think when you hear the word
is.
scheduling. It unlocks your life.
I love that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, friends. So now we have my friend Ari with me. We lived together sophomore year, and it was the best time ever. And we're still besties to this day. And yeah, I'm so excited to have her on. If you want to do any other introduction for yourself.
No, that was great.
That's awesome.
That was great.
She's a psych major? Love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the question of the day is, what is the biggest lesson / growth that you've had this past 4 years?
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is like reach out. And it's kind of something that I've been learning as I make friends and I make like connections with people, but like reach out. Like you never know what's gonna happen. Like reach out to your friends that you haven't seen in forever. Reach out to people that you are interested in, like career-wise or like romantic-wise. Like something that I like have on my wall that's like on a post-it note is like failure of rejection than failure of regret. Or like pain of regret, I mean. Pain of rejection than pain of regret. That's like, it's better to be rejected than to always think like, oh my god, what if I did do that?
Yeah.
So like, reach out. You never know.
Oh my god, I love that. Do you have any like, I don't know, success stories or even just like cutie friend moments that like you feel like have reaped the benefits of this?
I feel like you and I, like, just because it's on theme, well, like, we lived together sophomore year. Great experience, like, really loved it, but we kind of just, like, moved in separate ways. And it didn't stop us from trying to do a monthly or, like, once a semester hangout.
Depending on the semester.
Yeah, it, like, really depended, but it was, like, reach out. Like, it didn't matter if it was, like, 3 weeks since I texted you or like a month since I texted you, like we would still reach out and like we're still friends to this day. And I feel like that's going to continue for like a long part of our lives as long as we still like are staying friends. It's like that tiny reach out, like it means more to just say like, hey, I've been thinking about you. Don't even have to continue the conversation. You can just say like, hey.
So cute. I love getting those texts from you. But I agree. I feel like post-grad, that's like so important to reach out. And I also feel like, I don't know, I was thinking about this the other day about like, oh, but like what are these friendships if I'm not like getting in all this FaceTime with them? But I feel like I still feel just as good as friends with you, even though like the total amount of hours that we've seen each other does not amount to living with each other. But truly, I was just talking to Tavin about this right before, but like a 20-minuter, it does so much. And like, you don't need to know everything about every nook and cranny of like your friend's life, but just that like 20-minute I love to, personally. But, like, I don't know. I think we underestimate the power of, like, a 20-minuter.
Yeah.
If that's all you have in you.
Yeah. Like, I have specific friends that I've known since freshman year that were in my, like, freshman year class that you take, like, for one semester.
Yeah.
And I have friends that, like, I met there. I've never had another class with them, but I'll see them on campus, like, once a semester. I'll be like, hey, what's up? How's it going? And, like, I'm still really good friends with them.
Yeah.
I don't have their number. I maybe follow them on Instagram. I, like, maybe comment on their Instagram posts, but it's still, like, I'm so excited to see them. Because I'm like, tell me everything in, like, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it still feels like we were, like, the same amount of, like, closeness as we were 4 years ago.
I agree. I feel like, time does not necessarily equal friendship. And I feel like that's a big one to bring into post-grad.
I agree. Is there anything that, like, other people have said that have, like, stuck with you?
Interestingly enough, Tavin's one that he just came and said, I was not expecting necessarily. He was just talking about scheduling.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that to be, like, his biggest thing, but, like, I honestly am, like, damn straight, because I love a packed schedule. I bullet point everything. And, like, that's, like, one of my I did not used to do that in high school, and I fucking love it. Yeah. I would do a to-do list, but not, like, you know.
Are you, like, a GCal girl or an Apple calendar girl?
I'm a Notes app baddie.
Whoa.
Yeah. Rare breed.
Like, does it say give me your, like, outline of...
I'll show you, and I'll show the friends. Oh, it's 4:40 exactly. It's called Weekly Board, and it has cute emojis. Oh, and my phone just died. Yes. Well, it has cute emojis, and it has little bullet points that you check off. Really so it says, like, Monday, dolphin flower sprout, and that's, like, gym, Muay Thai, lunch, tan,
I feel
homework.
like it's so on brand with you. Like, if you were to look at, like, if I were to get, like, recently used emojis or most used emojis of my closest friends, I think I could guess it.
I don't use those, like, recreationally. My most used emoji is the smirky cat.
Me too!
Oh, let's kiss.
Oh my god.
Live on air.
I
want to know yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna look. I feel like I wish I had a list of, like, which ones I've really used the most, because those are, like, recently used, aren't they?
Yeah, I want an emoji wrapped.
Wrapped, yes.
Yes.
That would be so good.
Wait, that'd actually be really funny.
Definitely the smirky cat.
There's some people where it's like, that's their emoji. Or I like the one where it's the smile with the dead eyes.
Or the little, like, devil one.
Oh, I love the little devil.
Yeah.
Wait, good shit. Well, thanks for coming on. This little spot. But yay, that was Ari, guys. Hi, friends. So now we have my roommate and friend, Kate, here with us. We've lived together the past 2 years, and it's been freaking awesomeness. Our house is named the Big Booty House. Rightfully so, if she turned around. Hail! But anyway, if you'd like to introduce yourself to the friends.
Okay, I'm Kate. I live with this beautiful woman here. And, I don't even know. My favorite color is blue.
Oh my god.
Obviously. I just went to the gym, so I look a little crazy, but...
No, that's okay. We all look crazy today. Oh, what's your major, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm health sciences. Actually will be part of my answer.
Fun.
I'm health sciences, psych minor. It's been a lot, but it's pretty fun. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yay. Love that. Okay, so question of the day. What is the biggest lesson / growth that you've, like, taken away from these past 4 years?
Wow. Okay, well... I'd say, so I usually get really overwhelmed when I have a lot of things going on. Like, I usually say no to things. Like, I like to have a sense of control and just be like, okay, what I do commit to, I want to do well. But the past 4 years have taught me that, like, the best thing you can do is just say yes. And then everything will fall into place. Like, you have to have confidence in your abilities to, like, manage everything. And I think I was definitely lacking that, like, the first 2 years. I was literally in, like, a study room for, like all I did was just be in, like, this type of room, this study room. This was my home. And I just would study. And I'd do well, but I was also, like, really missing out on the fun part of college. So the past, like, 2 years, especially, like, living with you guys, it's made it a lot easier. Like, it's just so fun, like, to be with people who are, like, loud and silly and, like, to cook. And it's just made my life a lot more, like, bright.
Oh,
so, yeah, just say yes to things. Believe in yourself. all that cheesy shit, but like it's true though. Like you can do more than you think. Yeah.
Wait, I love that. It's cheesy for a reason. I feel like that's like literally every time I like talk on here, I always like, I'm like, if you're here, you're already smart and like not a dumbass. So like I'm just saying it again for you. But I love that. Has there been any like, I don't know, do you have any specific moments of like a yes that you said? Because actually, interestingly enough, this was somebody else's answer. But
really?
I think that just nails in how true it is. And like, I mean, you can't do anything great unless you say yes to it, right? But I don't know, was there anything that's like memorable for you that you're like, thank God I said yes to that? Or it could just be like a random night out or even like something bigger. I don't know.
Yeah, there's still lots of nights out for sure. But I think the biggest thing for me was, do you know Anchor Splash? Or probably these people don't know. But Anchor Splash is like kind of a dance competition, synchronized swimming with another frat. And it sounds like kind of horrible, but there's lots of drinking involved, and it's just like super fun, and there's practices. That and skit, another performing, like you know, stuff.
It's like a frat and sorority kind of performance opportunity thing.
Carry on. But the practices for skit were like 10 to midnight, and like you know me, I'm kind of a early bedtime girly. I'm usually in bed at like 10:30.
It's impressive.
But like I said yes to it, and it was like probably the best thing I did for my college experience.
Wait, that's so cute. Wait,
so
I love that.
It's just like silly shit that is really out of your comfort zone. Like if you had told me like in high school that I'd be on stage in front of like basically all of Greek life at Chapman, dancing, I'd be like, yeah, right, bud, like for sure. But I actually did it, and it was probably my favorite thing I've done.
Wait, that's so cute. Yeah. I wonder, because I feel like the stage and like performing is a very like big thing for people, and like and getting in front of people.
Yeah.
I wonder, do you have any thoughts on maybe like what makes that such a big thing? Because like obviously I'm a dance team, and like we do that all the time, but still yet like doing that, it makes, we were just talking the other day about how like as a dancer you have this weird underlying level of confidence, but it doesn't necessarily make you the loudest person in the room. But I wonder, like, for someone who's not naturally just a performer on stage, like, what do you think it just gives you, like, this out-of-body confidence of, like, I don't have to say anything, but I'm just standing? I don't know. For a lot of people, I've heard, like, oh, I'm so happy I did air bands or anchor splash or whatever. Like, I don't know, like, for someone who's, like, a non-performer, like, what is, like, the like, boost or, like, the feeling or thing that you gain from having that experience?
I mean, it's like it's like the adrenaline rush of like everyone looking at you, the lights, and it's just like you're like, wow, I'm like doing this, like people, I'm dancing right now, and so like, and then after that, like the adrenaline going down, and it's just like such a connecting like experience with a bunch of people. Also, like, I'm not a dancer, so like I was very impressed with myself. And then, like looking at the videos, I'm like, okay, wait, I wasn't off. Like,
down.
So that, and then just like doing it with your friends, like it's made it so fun. But yeah, I don't have any like when I'm on stage, I blacked out like the entire time.
You always
the last time
out.
I was on stage,
it's not good actually to not be blacked out, because if I've only gotten meta like a few times on stage. Terrifying.
Because then you're like,
when you're like down in a hunch, and then you just be like, yo, I'm on stage right now. Not the vibe.
I can't even imagine, because I know you guys do some crazy shit. Like, I'm just like clapping and like doing like weird arm motions. You're like underneath your leg. Like, fuck. I would also hate that. You'd be like, oh no.
Wait, so funny. No. Wait, I love that though. I love the like going out of your comfort zone, saying yes. Say yes again, you fuckers.
Why not?
That's the biggest. I love that. Well, thanks for coming on.
Of course.
This was so
Thanks
fun.
for having me.
Of course. This is so fun. I'll see you at home later.
Okay, bye.